Hello and welcome, listeners, to That's a Good Card. I'm Ya, and with me is the best Jund player I personally know, Kyle. And he's going to have the challenge of getting me to say, that's a good card.
How many Jund players do you actually know? I'm stopping you here. Name three.
I said, my comment is true. You are the best Jund player I personally know. There's Kyle. For a little while, Ty played Soul of Windgrace.
Lord Windgrace, yeah.
Lord Windgrace.
Yeah. No, not Soul of Windgrace. He played actual Windgrace, the Planeswalker. But yeah, okay, that's two.
I think he also played Soul of Windgrace, maybe in the deck though.
Okay, whatever. Continue. I just wanted to cut you off there.
Doug's dad. Doug's dad also plays Corvold. So there you go.
Okay, continue on.
Okay. And now is also a good time to remind you to hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to us. If you have thoughts that differ from the two of us, leave a comment below to let us know. Or make a suggestion for the card you think can change the CEDH meta. All right, Kyle, let's talk about some good cards.
Are we talking about good cards today? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Yeah, we're going to find out. But first, I want to do our newest segment, which is the Discord Community Spotlight. And today, we are spotlighting our pets channel. Whoop, whoop. Maybe I'll throw some pets up on the screen for us here for you listeners, but I'm not going to put them all up there so you can come hang out with us, check out the pets channel and see. But man, this pets channel is popping. My favorite one on here so far has been Blake from Casting Costs CEDH, just posting this picture of about 8 million cats just staring at us and then also staring out a window. That's a great one. Also, got to shout out Doug, who is mentioned in the aforementioned Doug's Dad Bark Bark, aka Jorge's dog Doug. Oh my gosh, what a cute pup. As well as your dog, Ya, the one and only Finn.
What a legend.
So cute. Just the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. The biggest Great Dane ever. Anyway, that's our Discord Community Spotlight for this week. Let's get into our card, which is Waste Not. Waste Not is 1 and a black for an enchantment. It reads, whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add black to your mana pool. Whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. And this card was originally recommended to us way back in January by Logan from Critical EDH. Said that we might have to do some convincing for this one, but Logan personally loves it. And that's where I'll start off with the decks that we see this seeing play in. One of them is Logan's Wrong Side list. Right now, it's currently in the sideboard, so I'm not sure if things have changed since January. Likely it has. But I think that this is still a card that's been up on my radar for another reason, which is the printing of Kefka. And I think that it has been an all-star in Kefka specifically. And we've kind of seen it firsthand and how powerful it can be. So those are the two decks that I see it most often in terms of like actual viable CEDH current meta decks. But there's also some other ones that I want to point out as well. So Turgrid, for example, obviously does a really good job at making your opponents discard cards. We see it there. We see it in Nekazar. We see it in some Tim Necrarch, as well as some Marnius, which I thought was really interesting.
That is interesting, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's just because of the Windfall stuff. They also have that weird crab enchantment. I don't know if you've seen that before. I've seen it like once in a Marnius list. Yeah, I'll put it on the screen. I don't exactly know what it does, but it's literally like a crab card. It's like pay 1, discard a card, make a token. It's a Marnius card only. It's literally like, and I think it's like super fringe at that. I've seen it like one time. I'm probably rambling on something that nobody actually plays. But anyway.
Scuttletide.
You found it? Okay.
Scuttletide is 1 generic and a blue pip enchantment. Pay 1, discard a card, create an 0/3 blue crab creature token. And it has also Delirium, where crabs you control get +1/+1 as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. Wow.
It's just 1 mana, make a token. That's all it is. It's like, that's why it's viable. It's so bad other than that, but it seems cool. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but I think that that's also probably one of the reasons why we see Waste Not in that deck specifically. I don't know. If Tim's listening, maybe you could talk about that weird ass interaction below. Anyway, have you seen Waste Not in any recent lists? Yeah. Have you played it before? What's your kind of your forte on Waste Not? I've played it before.
I've played it before. I played it in I think it's still currently in my Kefka list.
I think so. I think I've seen you play it recently.
I am 90% certain. Yeah.
Yeah, I also could have swore I've seen you play this in one of your Mardu decks. I don't know which one. It might have been Timna Kark, I want to say. But I
I've
feel
never
like
played Timna Kark, but
you didn't play Timna Kark?
I may have been in
I feel like
Timna
you've played
Jessica for a
literally, yeah,
little
Timna
bit.
Jeska, maybe. I don't know. You play all. I just assume you play every Mardu deck ever.
Dahada?
Ooh,
Maybe
maybe it was
Dahada.
Dahada? Question mark.
Ooh,
I don't know. You have
pick
to
that
go back
apart.
and look for me. I
I'll have
wish
to
that
look.
you knew off the top of your head, but unfortunately, you play so many decks and then you just cycle through them. Like it's
It's
nothing.
true. It's true.
You don't even know what's in the decks you're playing.
It's still in Kefka.
Okay, there we
That
go.
much I know.
You got that going for you. Awesome. Well, in terms of Mox Field list, it's got 999 plus bracket 5 decks, so people do play it, which is cool.
We just don't see it a lot.
I think it's in a lot of sideboards too, so it's a perfect card for us to go through. I've played against it many times, and I've played it myself. So, and I'll allude to what I played it in a little later because it's kind of my fun point. But anyway, are you ready to get into my points?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, for my first point, I want to talk about proactivity with this card. So let's talk about how you can be proactive with Waste Not. And the first thing that comes to mind is its crazy synergy with wheels and wheel effects. I see it as like a straight up ad nauseum plus a culling ritual in a sense that you're just going to generate a ton of mana and see a ton of cards. So it's like the best of two awesome cards combined. Because think about it. All of your opponents are going to be discarding their hands and then drawing 7 new cards. For all of those cards that they're discarding, you're going to be triggering Waste Not in one way or another, whether you're getting zombies, mana, or cards. It's going to be some conglomeration of all of those. The likelihood that your opponents only have all of the same types of cards is going to be a little rough.
Would be nuts.
That would be insane if you're just like everyone just has only creatures in their hands. But most of the time, what's going to happen is you're going to get some mix of a bunch of card draw, mana, and creatures. Well, yeah, creatures. You're 2/2 zombies. So it's just like this awesome situation where you're going to be set up with a ton of mana, a ton of cards, and a ton of bodies for you to use as well. Because a lot of those cards that you might be drawing might even use bodies, right? We're talking like Calling the Weeks. We're talking like Diabolic Intents, things that actually use those bodies. It could actually matter. So I think of it as a combo piece with Wheel of Fortune, with Windfall, with everything that makes your opponents discard the cards. Obviously, Time Twister, it doesn't do anything, right?
No.
Because it's just shuffle. I don't think it hits the graveyard first, right? I have to actually check this. Oh, shit.
I think it's shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library.
Shuffles his hand and graveyard, his or her hand and graveyard into the library, draw 7 cards. Gotcha. Yeah, my goodness. I was going to say that'd be kind of crazy if it still hit from Time Twister and then you shuffled, but no. Anyway, things like Wheel of Fortune, things like Windfall. That's going to be like what you're looking to combo with Waste Not with. Because you're not only going to get all those cards you're going to draw from, plus the additional cards, plus the mana. So it's just the best of, it's a Magic Christmas Dreamland. It's crazy. Have you ever seen that interaction before where somebody wheels with a Waste Not out?
I wish. No, unfortunately, I have not. I've really pushed for it before, but I've never quite had it resolved. It would be it's kind of a good, it's not even a difficult to achieve Christmas Dreamland, right? Like
No, it's really not.
something you can, it's like you get this out, Waste Not out, and then just one wheel. Like it's pretty easy to obtain.
Yeah, the idea of a turn 1 Waste Not into a turn 2 Wheel of Fortune is not difficult
Doable.
whatsoever. Especially
definitely
in
doable.
these like piles like Rogsai, Kefka, like things that basically all the Grixis piles that like to do this effect, like to wheel. And you just have so many options for it. So that's my first point in terms of proactive use. I'll give a little side tangent for the decks that I mentioned, like Turgid. There is a proactivity to this card being used with commanders that like to make you discard a card, a la that little Tiny Bones. I saw that when that came out for a split second.
Mm-hmm.
Like any other commander that focuses on discarding cards or making your opponents discard cards, it can be useful there. I'm not going to go super into that just because we don't see it a bunch in CEDH. I mean, obviously, Kefka has the biggest synergy for it. So Kefka uses it proactively, and I've been seeing a lot of Kefka. I think that commander is actually pretty dang good right now and definitely tournament playable. So like a commander that can make your opponent's discard can utilize this to the fullest. So I really do think that Kefka is probably like the best deck that we'll possibly see this for. It's like S plus for Kefka, and then everything else definitely falls a little below the wayside for it. But that's the ways that you're going to be using this proactively.
Yep, I agree with that.
My second point is that it kind of puts a lot of pressure on your opponents for doing really well. Here's the thought process, right?
Go ahead.
You get your waste not out early, right? Maybe you even cast it into an early fish, an early Ristic. We've all played those games where there is just reckless abandon, where somebody turn one fishes and like everyone just throws all of their spells on the stack anyway. There's no fish packed on the table. It's Mox Opal, Mox Amber, Soul Ring, everything's firing. And in turn one, this fish player just has like 12 cards in their hand. And they literally just land, fish, passed. If you get a waste not out, they're not going to have the mana to actually play all the cards in their hand. And if they don't have the mana to actually play all the cards in their hand, guess what? When they go to discard, you're going to reap the benefits. So let's say somebody just aggressively pushed into some fish or Ristic, and they're choked on mana because they just deployed their engine and passed the turn. When they discard, you're going to put them in a weird scenario where they have to really think about what they're discarding. Otherwise, they give you cards. And most of the time, they're just going to be greedy and just discard what they want to discard, and they just give you cards. But you never know. You could be putting them in a position to not keep the cards that are optimal for them to keep, or two, they just play really irresponsibly and you just get to draw a bunch of cards, make a bunch of zombies, or make a bunch of mana. And you're just like, cool, nice, awesome. I'll take all of that. Thank you very much. So it puts pressure on those misery scenarios where your opponent just has 15 cards and you're just like, what is going on? What is happening in this game? I hate it here. But, you know, you kind of have a light at the end of the tunnel where, well, yeah, at least they're choked on mana. They can't win right now. And I'm going to get a bunch of stuff. And if they're going to give me a bunch of zombies, for example, you give me 6/2/2 zombies on turn 2, guess where those are swinging? At the Ristic player or the fish player. So it's just one of those things where it kind of is one of the few cards we see that really punishes people who are just drawing an absurd amount of cards. Thoughts on my second point?
No, I definitely think that's, again, like that's really kind of what you're hoping to kind of get right. Like, is the a natural occurrence in the game, and getting advantage during those like end steps is really kind of nice, right? It's what where anytime you can get a benefit without having to do anything besides sinking, in this case, 2 mana, isn't that bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty good return on value, hopefully. Even just
Exactly.
like 3 or 4 bodies is like, okay, I got 3 bodies out of 2, right? Like, there are white cards where you spend like way more mana,
5 mana to make 3 tokens.
Right.
All right. I will say the rebuttal for my own point there is that if you fed 15 cards to a player, oh my God, you're in danger. You're in danger.
I'm totally going to address that later. Don't worry.
Okay. Cool. My third point is that certain enablers or combo pieces are slowed down. So it's kind of a Staxy piece in a way. And hear me out. Follow along here. If all of a sudden your opponent cracks an LED, like let's say there's this post-intuition pile, they crack their LEDs so they have the mana to pay for their Savine's Reclamation with flashback to get back their breach, right? This is probably the most common occurrence. When they crack that LED to do that, if they discard a land or two, the Waste Not player is getting a bunch of black mana, at which case, from the top rope comes an ad nauseum. Best case scenario, right? It's like, if you are deciding to commit to this plan to crack your LED, discard a bunch of cards into your hand, you're going to give card draw to your opponent, you're going to give mana to your opponent, and you're going to give bodies to your opponent. All in one. This is an all-in Lion's Eye Diamond. And it can be incredibly dangerous for you to do that. Because maybe the Kefka's been waiting there for you to do that and goes, oh shit, you just gave me 6 black mana? Sure, I'll rip this ad nauseum. It's just like, okay, that is an incredibly dangerous way to go for your win. So it kind of gives your opponent something to think about, or it just is a straight up trap for your opponents who are trying to go for Lion's Eye Diamond lines in that scenario. There's also kind of a weird, it's like, doesn't really stop them. It really depends on the situation. There could be a scenario where it does stop an opponent going for a glint horn combo with Malcolm, because the glint horn player technically has to discard a card to do this. And if they have a creature, they're free in the clear, they can give you infinite 2/2 bodies. Doesn't matter, you're dying, right? But there is a scenario where it's relevant if you give them black mana and now they're able to hardcast a Deadly Rollick or something like that, or you give them card draw and now they found an answer, a la removal, trick bind, whatever. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't hard stop that combo, but I've been losing to that combo a lot lately.
It's a good combo. It's hard to interact with, right?
It's really hard to interact with. Yeah. So I think that there is some, it'll give them some pause. Obviously, if the setup is just perfect for them, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't really do anything if they give you a bunch of 2/2s. But there could be a scenario where you can stop somebody going for that combo with this card. But yeah, that's kind of my third point here is just there's certain combos or value pieces that just make it really awkward to play through, especially when the Grixis turbo piles are the ones that are really drawn to play this. Like every time you discard a land, you're in this scenario where you're like, oh shit, I could be giving my opponent ad nauseam mana. That's a problem, right? I'm thinking like as a fourth point, things like Mox Diamond. You just like cast your Mox Diamond, discard a land, waste not trigger, give your opponent 2 mana, they ad nos. Oh shit. Like, oh, that's a problem. Like even those interactions with your opponent doing that and cantrippy stuff too, right? And this is all part of my fourth point where there's just like a lot of incidental stuff that gives you value off this card. If you're playing against Krarks, they love their frantic searches. They love their faithless looting, right? Things that draw cards, discard cards. Well, you're getting triggers on every single one of those. Hardest talent, Taxi special, hardest talent. Exactly. So, all of these cards that incidentally discard cards to gain value all of a sudden become a lot less valuable for your opponent to play when you have a waste not on the battlefield. One more that we don't see that often that I will mention because I've seen it recently in a TNT is survival of the fittest, right? So you get that minute benefit when they discard a creature card. You get a 2/2. Congratulations. Give it up. Give it up for waste not, baby. You got a 2/2. And do you have anything to say about those kind of like incidental positives that come from this, just like from the cantrippy stuff?
No, I think I was just trying to think about like other commanders that do that. Like some of the newer commanders where like when it ETBs, you can like discard a certain amount of cards, and then for every card that you discarded, you get to draw some more. Like we're starting.
Oh, was that the new Narset? Is that what you're talking about?
Like there's that one. I think there's also, gosh,
Narset. Yeah. It's the Narset, right? 3 mana Narset Jeskai Waymaster. I've never played against this deck. I don't know if it's viable at all. But it says at the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. I don't think that's super viable, but I'm picking up what you're putting down. Thanks for helping me out. Yeah,
some people are playing it. And then there's also the one I think I was thinking of is a Mardu commander. It's Celeste. Celeste Rune Knight says when Celeste enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. And then it has some other text that isn't necessarily relevant here. But again, it's another commander that people are definitely playing with, right? They're experimenting with, and this might be a good time to try to capitalize on at least this wave of kind of discard effects where people are trying to gain card advantage by discarding.
Yeah, there's definitely a few lists that attempt to do that. And a funny thing about that when we're thinking about our opponents and what they're trying to do is like this prevents your opponents from wheeling as well. Yeah. Because your opponents are now not incentivized to wheel into your waste knot because you're just going to come out in the same exact place that you would have before. So I guess and I'm probably going to get a Reddit comment that talks about this or some comment. Someone's going to be like, oh, you forgot to say that your opponents can't wheel. Well, guess what? We found it a little later on, but your opponents also are incentivized to not wheel into your waste knot because if they do, they're in for big trouble.
again, like you didn't say it explicitly, but like when you wheel or somebody else wheels, right? Like you're not just drawing whatever, like a windfall, like whatever the most amount of cards. You're drawing, if with a Wheel of Fortune, you're drawing a fresh 7 plus. There's the delayed trigger about of you getting to draw whatever
People
non-creature
discarded.
spell. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Like you're going up
A
overall in
lot
cards.
of cards. A
Yep.
lot of cards. If 6 non-creatures get discarded, it's like
You draw
non-creature,
13
non-land. It's
overall,
like, yeah,
right?
draw 13 overall. Plus, for all the lands, you're making the black mana. It's just crazy. It's
Yep.
absolutely nuts how much you can get off of it. Especially if you have something like a flash enabler in play as well, because then you're just free and clear. Because that black
Yep.
mana you can convert into artifacts, which can convert into other types of mana, and then you're just gone. It's GG. Anyway, my last fun point is that the deck I actually used to play this in was my CEDH Stacks Nath list, which was one of my favorite lists ever. I love that deck. Playing Bottomless Pit, Waste Not, just like Dark Deal, like all these cool ass discard cards. Oh my gosh. Just shout out Nath. If there's any listeners out there who still play Golgari Stacks,
there must be
2025
tens of you.
Hey, guess what? I'm here with you. You know how much of a banger this card is.
Join the Discord. Come talk to Kyle about Nath.
Yeah, just be like, Kyle, you should rebuild Nath. I feel bad for Nath. I have a confession. Yeah, because I had Nath built, and Nath was one of those decks that like I just picked apart. I completely dissected it. Every time I needed a good green or black card, I would go straight into that deck and just pull it out, you know? So I'm pretty sure that deck box has like the deck in it still, but it's like 40 sleeves and then like mostly 60 lands. Random discard cards. Yeah. Oh, I've massacred that deck. I feel so sad. Oh, well. Anyway, that's it for my points, my positives for it. Listeners, if I missed any positives, put it in the comments down below. Let's hear them. All right, y'all. Handing it off to you. Let's hear about the downsides. Why would you not want to play Waste Not?
One of the first things is sometimes just like the discard, like the wheel effects itself can just feel bad to play, and or you don't play that many, right? Like I think the deck I can think of right away that would play the most would be like a Rogsai.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to say I see like I think with where the meta has shifted and what like the current meta Rogside decks are playing, like I see like sometimes like 2, maybe 3 wheel effects, but like at most. And so, which definitely I do agree can propel you forward. But I think outside of those very like fast turbo decks, the mid range that we're in, you're seeing maybe 1, right? Like 1 per deck, if that, right? Wheel effect.
Yeah.
And so the point here is like you're not seeing this played as much, right? Like even though it's in a lot of decks, you don't see it. I at least I haven't seen it played that much because there aren't as many like discard effects like this being played overall. That may change,
like
right?
People
like
aren't diving deep into that dark deal tech that I was, you know.
Ooh, dark deals. Ooh, I like that.
I'm gonna read dark deals since I mentioned it twice now. For the listeners, if you don't know what dark deal is, so dark deal is 2 and a black, so 3 mana for a sorcery. It reads: each player discards all the cards in his or her hand, then draws that many cards -1. It's a wheel, but everybody gets even less. So this is actually better with Waste Not because they're still discarding all the same amounts, but they're not getting as many back. So this is the secret tech right here. This is what I'm unlocking.
Actually, it's actually kind of with this card, that's actually
a lot
better on Waste Not. Yeah. But like I said, like I don't think that as many decks are kind of playing wheels as we have seen in the past. I feel like there was a while where you were seeing it a lot. And like I think Obnixilis sometimes like the way to win the game is like cast a breach, have an OBM out, and wheel.
Yeah.
Right. And now with a Waste Not out, like this is kind of like we're stumbling into a benefit for Kyle. Like one of those benefit wins is like somebody trying to like wheel an OBM a table to death. They may not be able to now with that Waste Not out.
Yeah, we don't see that as often anymore. I feel
No,
like there was an era
don't
of the
want to.
CDH meta where people were like using breach wheel as like a way to win the game consistently. I feel like we
Right.
just don't see it as often because it's so dangerous to just fill your opponent's hands over and over again.
It's like a fallback plan for when
For some, yeah.
for a turbo breach deck, like, oh, like my brain freeze is gone, or like I need to get you to draw, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's like a
to end the game.
finisher now.
Yeah.
It's like it brain freeze everybody out, cast wheel. Cool.
Yep.
But that's a good point overall. Like if the only two like the two naturally occurring wheels that we see commonly that would work well with this is Windfall and Wheel of Fortune, right? We're not seeing the dark deals. And Wheel of Misfortune doesn't fully like for the decks that are playing
People
that,
will
it
just
doesn't
choose
even
not to,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like people just can't like will just not wheel
You're not
potentially.
forcing them to
So
do
it's
that.
not super effective. Time Twister doesn't work as we mentioned earlier. So there's not a ton of wheeling options for you that are
There,
commonly played.
I will throw this one out there. One of my favorite, very favorite wheel effects, which is not actually a wheel effect, it's just a complete discard, is Mind Slicer. I actually
Oh my god.
really
I hate that
love
card.
that card. I love
Why
that
don't you
card,
read
right?
it for the people?
Let me pull it up. Mind Slicer. It's a 4 cost creature. It's 2 generic, 2 black pips. Creature horror. It reads when Mind Slicer is put into a graveyard from play, each player discards his or her hand, right? So when it dies and goes through the graveyard, everybody discards their entire hand. So again, to your point, with a waste not out, this will fill your hand up with a certain amount of cards, but your opponents are now completely hellbent, right? Like they have no cards. You've made mana, made creatures, and drew back at least some amount of cards. This was played in for me in Rakdos the Muscle, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I not only stripped everybody of their hands, I'm going up 4 cards. They're just going to exile instead,
Yeah.
right? And without like again some kind of effect, or if you're not looking to do that like kind of as a natural part of your real game plan, it kind of feels maybe not as usable for you.
Yeah.
Going into my second downside, we're going to go back to your, I believe it was your second point.
Mm-hmm.
If they're discarding due to hand size limitation, that honestly also, yes, oh man, you're going to benefit from them having to make a choice, right? But they're already drawing more than you, right? Like they're being fed and now they're sculpting a perfect 7. Yes, you will be the one person at the table that'll be benefiting, and like hopefully you do have your adnos in hand. But this also relies on your opponents to trigger this, right? It's not like you get a choice per se. They're going to give you something, right? But
But they get to dictate.
they are dictating the benefit you get.
Yeah, it's not a random discard. It's most effects we see in CDH are not random discards. They are going to be the ones getting to pick, especially at the end step. Now, that's a good point. They get to decide what you get. There could be scenarios too where, like, to help you out, it's not a May, is it? No, it's not.
No, it's not a May.
It's not a May. So they could force you to draw a card. You
right.
go for Thoracle consult combo, and they're
Correct.
like, crack LED in response, you die.
Right. You have to draw the card.
That's
right?
crazy.
They even held the counter spell that would have like maybe stopped it, but they're like, no, I'll just let him and like discard this counter spell, and it does the same thing, right? It's a non-creature spell,
so
non-land
funny.
card. They draw a card. And so while we love benefiting from game actions, this is a phase of the game where the game actions will get you benefits, but it's also very like a very strict time window. I'm going to go into my third point because something you said earlier, right, is something I'm going to point out now is like without a flash enabler, you do kind of lose out on 1/3 of the power of this card.
Yeah.
Discarding lands is something people are looking to do first.
Yeah. If they don't need them. Yeah.
It's arguable, right, that part of the ability, right, of that trigger can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, depending than drawing a card, right? Like getting 2 mana for one discarded land is like a really good rate. You can flash out an OBM, right? Like you can use one of those pips, or like hopefully if they discard 2 lands, you can flash out a opposition agent.
Yeah.
It's really good. but without a flash enabler, it kind of can just feel like a waste,
Didn't.
right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and there was also a time where we were seeing another one because like OBM was a great option. There's a reason I was saying Adnaz the most because that's obviously the most
Yeah, I
important
agree
one, and it's
completely.
most difficult to get to those black pips. There was a time where we were playing necromancy a lot in the meta
Yeah.
because of Dockside and like being able to
Ooh, that would have
listeners.
been
I'm not going
hot.
to read the whole text, but it's like 2 and a black for an enchantment that flashes in and can reanimate something in any graveyard. So
Yep.
like people were using this to flash it in, go steal somebody's Dockside that was already trying to be reanimated, and you like reanimate on top kind of thing. That was like super meta for a while, at least in my Pacific Northwest meta. So necromancy used to be a big deal, and if you had waste not for that, that would be nuts. But we don't really see necromancy played as much anymore, just because there's no massive payoff target that every deck is playing.
Yeah. And especially for like the rate of like 3 CMC overall.
I mean, it's a powerful effect. Don't get me wrong.
Very much.
I think about it consistently, and sometimes maybe we should start talking. Maybe we can do a podcast on this one day because, like,
Yeah.
that is like right there for me. I feel like any deck could play that in black, and it's not necessarily troll, but it's
I
kind of just
completely
like,
agree.
but why male models? You know,
Yeah.
but why necromancy? Are you kidding me? I just told you why. Anyway, it also helps that in the necromancy art, or at least the one I pulled up, the MKM one, there is a guy who's being pulled back up, and he's buff as hell. He looked like a male model. Anyway.
The last thing I'll add to my last point is that in order to get maximum use, right, especially if you're now having to rely in somebody else's end step, you want a flash enabler. And so if you're not on an emergence zone, which is land that you may not see in the entire duration, you are now being pulled directly into blue, which is we're kind of arguing like
this is a Grixis card. Let's be honest.
it's a
Yeah, this is
Grixis
a
card,
this is a
right?
Grixis
And
card. Yeah,
it isn't it, and I think that's like my other point, like is that, or like my fourth point is that this is definitely a Grixis card. Grixis is very good, but there are a lot of people who like being in black. They want this kind of advantage, but they don't necessarily want to play blue, right? Like they want to
yeah,
play Mardu, they want to play their Rakdos or
yeah.
um
I mean,
yeah, not
it's
bans. I'm
it's
sorry.
weird because Grixis I think can capitalize the most on the card, but at the
Correct.
same time, it's more consistent in mono black, right?
Yeah.
Because your card quality is lower, so therefore you're playing more discard effects that aren't the best overall card quality, but you're going to consistently trigger the waste not more. So you can make an argument one or the other. I'm a big consistency guy, so we say Grixis is probably the biggest target for this because like we're chasing that high of these big wheels into winning the game. But at the same time, there's definitely some discard heavy black effects that we don't see anywhere outside of mono black or two color, I guess.
But yeah, that's my last point is that you kind of miss out on some of the best parts of this card if you're not able to kind of flash out anything from the mana that people are making. And they're going to make you, like, I'm saying it, like they're going to make you mana, right? If you have this out, you will get lands discarded. Like that's what people are going to look to discard first.
For sure. And if your opponent has 8 cards in hand and they're just discarding 1 card, which can happen in normal scenarios, right? The most normal of situations, they're discarding a land they don't need, right? It's just like that's the most likely situation. If it were different, I wonder, it would definitely be better, right? If the card text switched the draw card to lands whenever you discard a land, it'd be better, right?
Yeah. It'd be pretty good.
Because
good, I think.
I think it's weird though, because like you could make the argument the other way, but I think it would be better overall because that's what people want to discard most. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's not what the card is. Sense, right? It doesn't matter. We're speculating. We're going off of nothing. Okay. Anyway, do you have any other downsides for this card?
Nope. That's it.
All right. What point of mine did you think was the biggest upside for waste not?
It was your third point. I really like that point. It's not something I had really thought about, but I really like it. It's the fact that it just impedes, at the very least, right? It impedes, right, and slows them down and trips them up enough that in a tight, stressful situation, right, that might be the difference of like just kind of making them not be able to turn the corner, right? Because like, oh, you just threw one other stumbling block on top of whatever else the blue players like trying to counter all of this stuff, right? Like now it's like, oh shoot, like I'm now feeding more cards to this person as I try to go through my line.
Yeah.
It's not stacks, but it's stacksy enough that the incidental bonus I think is really cool.
Yeah. Like, don't crack that LED. Don't cast that Wheel of Fortune.
Ooh, the
like,
horn combo.
Don't do
that's
it. Like,
now really weird.
Like, are you sure about that? And they go, oh no, I guess I can't combo. Not realizing that giving you infinite 2/2 zombies doesn't matter. No. They win anyway. LOL. No. I think that's a fun point as well. The point that I think you made that is like the biggest downside to this card is just like, if you don't have discard effects, like if you're not finding that wheel, which we didn't really talk about this as like a counterpoint. I do think it's your best point because it's difficult to get the waste knot and find the wheel, then cast the wheel and get the wheel to resolve. Like that, those steps are hard to do. I think if you naturally have it, it's totally fine. Like, and it is a natural progression.
For sure.
Turn 1 waste knot, turn 2 wheel. Like that is something that is very viable.
Great.
That being said, to consistently do that, you're in black, so you're gonna have access to all the unconditional tutors. More likely, it's like turn 1 waste knot, turn 2 tutor, turn 3 attempt to wheel, right? Yeah. And if that's the situation, like if that you're all in on that scenario, if that wheel resolves, great, you win the game. If the wheel doesn't resolve, you lose the game. That's fine, you know, and that's kind of part of the experience. But like, it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine. Turn 1 waste knot, turn 2 wheel, it resolves. You know, that's not going to happen every time.
No.
So.
No.
I also think that there's a something to be said as well. We didn't really go into it too much, but we kind of tiptoed around it. The idea that you should probably have more payoffs and instant speed payoffs that require black mana in the deck, right?
Yes.
So like if you want to build this really to be a waste knot type deck, you want to have that opposition agent. You want to have that Orcish Bowmaster, right? You want to have things that you can always at any time utilize the black mana that you're getting, whether it's off of Mox Diamond or off of whatever, right? Or any land that's going to be discarded for whatever reason. I think that kind of pushes the envelope of how powerful the card could be.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, yeah. Did I get there? Did we convince you? Myself and Logan from January. And don't look at the current list where it's in the sideboard. Don't look at that. Is Waste Not a good card?
When you talked to me about this card a couple days ago or a day ago, I was like, yeah, I really like that card. I really, really do. And then while I was going over the downsides, I kind of was like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know about this card. Like, I'm not sure if it's good enough. Then while we were talking, you picked me back up, right? Like,
roller coaster. Like what we and the listeners are on right now, trying to figure out if you're going to say yes or no.
Gosh, I'm not even sure. Even in this moment, like, I'm not fully convinced it's a good card. I think it's like really close, right? I this is such a me card. I really like this card. Like, I really, really like this card. But I don't know. I've been going through a journey of like really reevaluating. I've been playing a lot of Timna Dargo, and I keep thinking to myself, can I play this in Timna Dargo? Right. I'm in.
Yeah.
I need sometimes just card advantage. Is this good enough? And it might be good enough to just try to like slot in and get some incidental card draw out of it. And then like, cause I can use the bodies.
Yeah.
And my downside that I pointed out, like it's kind of a real big downside. Like the not being able to capitalize on free mana. Just kind of
if you're not in Grixis. Yeah.
It's like, ooh, man, this is really good. And so 2 out of 3 is pretty good. Gosh, this is a real, again, solid card. I think it's almost good.
Damn, we didn't get there. That's crazy. If I were a betting man, I would have bet that you were going to say it was just because it's so freaking good in Kefka specifically. And that's what you've been playing.
It is.
You've been playing a lot of Kefka. So I was like, how do you not say yes? But okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think for the wide array of non-perfect world Grixis pile that forces your opponents to discard, yeah, maybe it can't get there. Maybe it's just not there. Maybe it's just right there at the 110. Where are you feeling? Are we 110ing? Are we 120ing? Are we?
No. This is like
are we furthering?
No. This is a
180th card include.
This is a 105 for me.
Ooh, 105.
Totally
okay.
105. Right.
That's a 105. Okay.
I consider it for sure.
Like it belongs in the considering pile for a lot of lists. It's in the 105. So. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah. All right. Lightning round. You ready for lightning round?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, lightning round. I'm
All
now going to
right.
give Kyle some cards. I'm going to give Kyle some decks that
There we go.
on whether or not he would play Waste Not in these decks. The big one, Timna Crom.
Mm, I could see this as a Tim McCrom spice, actually. That's kind of crazy. I'm going to say yes. And I'm supposed to give a number. I'm going to say a 6.8.
Ooh.
My thought process on this one is like, they actually do have access. Like you can play Tim McCrom in a very like in a way that you could potentially be playing Ad Nauseum, Orcish Bowmasters, and Opposition Agent, and Wheel of Fortune all in the same deck. You know, so like you could be at that scenario, and obviously Lion's Eye Diamond. Well, Lion's Eye Diamond doesn't matter. Never mind. Cross that one out. Cross that one out. You know how crazy it would be if like cracking like it was anytime a player discards a card, like you get to it. So you could do that would be nuts. This card would be S tier. That'd be crazy.
So good.
That'd be crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna just say like I could see this like perusing through EDH top 16 and being like, oh, Blue Farm won this tournament. Oh, that's weird. There's classic Blue Farm. They switch out 3 cards every once in a while. If they're playing Waste Not, interesting. Like I could see that 100%. That's why I put it at 6.8. Anyway, next one.
Next one. Okay. Corvold.
5. It's just I want to play a more proactive game plan.
Yeah,
I'm not super interested in making my opponent's discard. I think there is a world that like you asked me 2 years ago, and I definitely considered this card because like wheels were like the jam. Like we were trying to wheel. Like we were actively trying to develop mana, wheel, win the game, you know? So maybe that would be if I could use it more proactively, but currently, nah, not really. So it'd be like a 5. It's cool to make bodies, and Corvold likes bodies, so making the 2/2 zombies actually matters in that list. But nah.
Tyam.
Tyam's weird. Like a 7, I guess. Because I just realized that like the zombies would come in with a vigilance counter, and that's good. So you like more bodies to make more counters. And Tyam probably does things that make people discard. Maybe. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
And it can make use of it can totally make use of the mana without needing like to cast spells, right? Like
yeah, that's true. Because sometimes it just needs to. Okay, so we're cooking, man. How many Tyam cards have we been bringing lately? The Tyam players, all dozen of you, please comment in the description down below if Waste Not's played.
There may be only a dozen. Look, they're pretty.
No. There's more than a dozen, but I honestly meant that in an endearing way, as in like we have probably like 10 Tyam pilots that listen to the podcast regularly, that comment regularly about Tyam. So I'm actually calling upon the squadron of Tyams to let us know if this card's any good, or like give us like a scale of 1 to 10, like I did. Like I said, like a 7. Give us like a number. Anyway, but that's fun. Oh, you got one more for me. I thought we'd do it through. Yeah,
Glarb.
Sure. Glarb. 4. Yeah, I'm just not with it on that one.
Not feeling it.
That's the only reason. Cool. It's there's no actual things except for the fact that it's not in red, so I don't get Wheel of Fortune. Send it back.
True.
Cool. All right, it is time for our favorite closing segment. That's a good card? ? If you haven't played with us before, what we like to do is finish off the podcast with a super fun little game that you get to play along with us. Woohoo! What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide Ya, as well as you, the listener, the name of an obscure Magic the Gathering card. And it's going to be your job, as well as Ya's, to guess everything about that card. Color, type, cost, flavor text, artwork, everything. Go ahead and pause the video after I give you the name of the card. Write down your guess with your description in the comments on Spotify, YouTube. It helps us out a ton. Please, 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 please do that. And even if you don't want to play with us, give us a comment anyway. Just say, nice. I don't know. Anyway, your card for this week is Argivian Restoration. I might be mispronouncing the first part.
Spell that one.
Argivian Restoration. Argivian Restoration.
Argivian Restoration sounds like a Simic card. Why do I always gravitate to fucking Simic?
Why do you always do multicolored cards every time?
I'm gonna say it's a white card. That's right. Oh. We talked about Simic. I'm gonna go white.
That's the chaos, baby. That's the chaotic Ya I know. Tell him one thing, he'll do the other.
I will. Yeah, very much. I will say it's 2 generic and 1 white pip.
Mm-hmm.
Restoration. Oh man, this sounds like a bad card. So I'm just gonna say, um, it's an enchantment.
Mm.
Okay, it's going to you can when this enchantment ETBs when Argivian Restoration ETBs, you gain 3 life. Okay,
Oh,
3 for
wow.
3, and then you
Yeah.
can sacrifice this enchantment
Oh.
to give target creature you control flying.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Okay. So we're going to heal and then fly to the
Yeah, we're gonna heal and
skies.
then fly. Yeah, it sounds very white, right?
What's the artwork?
Oh, it's a balding gnome, right? Like
A
with like
balding
whiskers.
gnome. Okay.
Yeah, and he's working on this like flying contraption that has seen better days, right? But he's
Mm-hmm.
putting, you can tell he's putting some love and care into the work that he does. And then the flavor text is some people's trash is others flying contraptions. To fairy.
What? To very off the top rope. What?
He's the only he it was either Teferi or Arjani, and Arjani felt really wrong to me.
Oh
Like,
my gosh! You only know
Teferi
2
felt
characters
wise.
in
I
that
kind
are
of
in the white
only
color
do.
pie. That's crazy. Okay.
I mean, it could have been. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. Jan Jansen. I don't know.
Oswald Fiddlebender.
Fiddlebender. Oh, Oswald would have been way better. You're
That
right.
would have been.
Yes,
I was
that
thinking
would have
that.
been
I was like,
way
wow, that's
better.
gonna be really.
How far off am
You're
I?
super far off. This is a blue card.
Oh, so my gut
So,
reaction was right. A little bit closer.
It's 2 and 2 blue, so 4 mana total for a sorcery. It reads return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. The flavor text reads the Argivian University taught me 2 things. Always look to the past and never dismiss what appears useless. Quote, Hannah, Weatherlight Navigator. And the artwork is like a person with a funny hat restoring what looks to be a statue with a paintbrush holding a magnifying glass, but like really far away. Is that how you use magnifying glasses? It's supposed to be that much distance between what you're working with and what you're not. I'm going to put the art on the screen. I've never used an actual magnifying glass like that. Maybe that is how you do it. And then there's a guy in the background watching him that looks like the actor who plays Ragnar from Vikings. You know what I'm talking about?
Whoa, what a call. Wow. I completely see. Yeah.
What is that guy's name? Let's see. Let's look it up. Portrayed by Travis Fimmel.
That does look like Travis
We got
Fimmel.
Travis Fimmel in the background of Argivian Restoration.
What a great looking card, by the way. This card, the art, I think it looks really good.
The cool thing about this artwork is there's a lot of contrast in the color. Like there's a lot of dark shadows that are giving texture to it. Yeah. So it looks really cool. It's very well drawn. Shout out so Roger Raup.
Yeah, this is great.
But anyway, it's a 12-cent card. So yeah, if you're looking to pick that up, you could return a Bolus's Citadel from your graveyard to the battlefield, win the game.
Buying advice from that's a good card.
Boom. Stonks. Anyway, thank you so much, listeners, for listening to today's episode. Please direct your attention to our links down below, where you'll find links to our link tree as well as our Patreon, where we've been posting a ton of extra content. If you want a full bonus, that's a good card episode, the whole shebang on the card Power Balance, check out our Patreon, hop in, join. If you want to even be on the lowest tier besides the freer tier, it's only $3. That's like half a copy in most metropolitan areas. And it helps us out. We appreciate you greatly. All right, listeners, check the links in the description down below. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Logan from Critical EDH for recommending this card way back in January. And we will see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye-bye.